Hey, Mr. Willis again, and here's how to do a couple of more advanced shapes or shape building in SketchUp for Schools. So I've got a basic shape here, and what I want to do is create more of a roof to this building, and it requires kind of cutting up pieces, pulling and pulling, pushing on different things. So let's get started. First thing is, if I'm going to work on the roof, you should have already seen the whole tutorial about how to look around. And so I'm going to use my look around tools like the hand and the orbit tool to make sure I'm looking right down and I've got a good view on my roof. If I don't have that, this will be hard. Next, I need to cut my roof in half because I'm going to try to kind of make a peaked roof, like it's pointing up. So here's how I can kind of cut a particular shape in half. I use this pencil tool, which is called the line tool over here on the left side. So I'll click on that. Make sure I just pick the pencil. Pencil means a straight line. This other one's a squiggly line. We just want a straight line. And to make sure my line goes right down the middle, I'm just going to move my mouse up here. I notice I haven't clicked on anything yet. And I'm going to wait until my mouse is right there at the midpoint. You see how the little marker next to my mouse changes. So it turns blue, bluish green there. It says midpoint. And so now I'm going to click my mouse, and I've clicked and let go. So this is not a click and drag. I just clicked the mouse one time. Then I'm going to move it all the way down here, and you'll see how my mouse kind of wants to stay in the middle. See how it stays a green line? If I go up here, it's a black line. That's not going down the middle. It must be a straight line, and I'm not going to click again until I'm right there on the midpoint at the other side. So something like this, nope. Something right here. I'll click and you'll see it's created the line there. If you click, say, halfway across or something, you need to erase your line and start over. You must have one single solid line going all the way across. Now I need to grab this line and pull it up in order to make it a peaked roof. And of course I can't do it with this pencil tool because that just draws lines. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to go down to this section I don't think we've clicked on any of the previous videos, called the Move tool. You'll see there's a couple different options, like I could scale, I could rotate, or I could just grab and move something, and that's what I'm going to choose right now, the 4 arrows just to grab and move. And pay attention to where your mouse is here. Notice right now I'm on just this face, how it's got all the dotted lines on there. Right now I'm on just that one little point where those two lines meet. Right now, I'm on that line. You see how it lit my line up blue. Make sure that you see that. And so at this point, I can have my mouse right there on the line. It's lit up blue. I will click down my mouse, and I'm doing a click and drag here. So I'm still holding down my mouse button as I slowly push up, and that is kind of creating the peak of my roof. Now, once I've made it, the first thing I'm going to do is kind of look around a little bit and see, all right, yep, that looks like it's pretty good. Nothing, not too high, not too short, and it's not going off in any crazy directions. And so that's a peaked roof. Okay, now while we're here, I'll do one more advanced shape, but I kind of recommend maybe pause the video now, see if you can do what I just did. Do this peaked roof before you do the next part. Now, if you're ready for the next part, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a chimney on my building. So I'm going to do a square chimney for this one. So I'm just going to pick a rectangle, and I'll just draw, a rectangle or square shape right here on my roof. Something about like that, I think. Okay? So you'll see how now there's just a rectangle there on the roof. Then I can switch to that push and pull tool. Remember, this is the one that pops things up into 3D. And I don't want to grab this whole section of the roof. I just want to grab that one little rectangle, and now I can pop it out. Now, of course, if you're looking at this, you might be thinking, Mr. Willis, that's a weird chimney. It's like pointing out diagonal. I don't know of any chimneys that do that. You know what? You're right. Let's fix it. So here's what I can do. Go back to that Move tool, the 4 arrows. And now I can grab any one of the sides here on this chimney. And so I'm going to grab this blue line kind of right up here in this top corner of the chimney, and I'm going to grab it and I'm going to move it back, and you'll see how it kind of snaps into place once I get over there. What I'm trying to do is get it so that that line is now going straight up and down. You see that? Okay, now this may look weird right now because it looks like it's just some big open chute and not a chimney, but that's the first step. You want that first line up and down. Now what I can do is make sure I've still got my move tool, and I'm going to grab this other side, and now I can kind of move it over so it lines up with the first one. Now you'll notice that, let me shift all this down so we can see it better. Now I've got something that is looking a little more like a chimney. And I think I overcompensated a little bit, didn't I? I pulled it just a little bit too much to the side. No big deal. I'll just grab that, slide it over a little bit. Do the same thing with this one here. Okay, sometimes you got to do little movements and be careful with something like this. But there you go. I've got a roof and I have a chimney. So give those a try, and these are not the only things that you can build. Once you've practiced little tricks like this, see where else you can apply them. Maybe you can make ramps or staircases, or I don't know, you come up with something new.